It's late at night. You're playing one of those map coloring strategy games where you get to control your own empire. All of a sudden, though, the game sends you an urgent message. Something has happened, and you need to make a choice. So you're playing as a Catholic nation in this game, and you have a young preacher who's very influential in your nation. You can choose to send him to Rome, and you'll get a +10 papal influence bonus, or you can keep him at home in your nation and make him a bishop, and that gives you +5 prestige. So I really like this game mechanic. It just does so much for the game here. It first lets the player make a strategic decision that is consequential to gameplay, and this delivers on the promise that the game is a strategy game. Second, it lets the player immerse themselves in the narrative that they are a leader of a nation making important decisions in their position, and this delivers on the promise that the game is a historical nation-ruling fantasy simulator. And third here, it's both rewarding for metagamers and for role players. The metagamers can just skip over reading the flavor text that's on the screen and pick the choice that has the best outcome effect that's optimized for their strategy. And the role players, they don't have to get bogged down by the effect text. It does not have an immersion-breaking screen presence, so they can feel free to make the decision that they believe that their character is going to make without, being bogged down by all the numbers and all of that. For games that give players the time they need to make strategic decisions, this mechanic is almost always a winner. It's seen in most of Paradox's grand strategy games. It appears in Slay the Spire as event rooms, and it even goes all the way back to that old PC game Oregon Trail. So I'm making an indie strategy game called CultGame. It's a game where you start your own cult, and I think this mechanic would work perfectly in CultGame, as I believe that there would be people who would want opportunities to roleplay as a cult leader and make decisions in that position, and people who want to strategize and make the best possible decisions and feel clever from doing that. So here's how I added a random event system to our game, and it's one that I'm sure is going to add enjoyment to everyone's playthroughs. I had a general idea of what I wanted these random events to look like. A prompt with some choices and quick explanations of each choice's outcome. So now I had to decide when I should make these events occur. Currently, the flow of the game looks like this. The human-controlled cults and computer-controlled cults each take their turns, deciding which action they want their cult members to do for the month. After all of the turns are taken, the game resolves at the end of the month and executes all of the actions for each cult. Once all of the actions are resolved, we crunch the numbers for resources gained each month, and then begin the next month by starting over the turn order. Now, I figured some events in CultGame would be purely randomly generated, but we wanted the ability to have random events be generated in response to actions that the player takes. This would give the events some context and would make the game feel more immersive. For example, if you try to preach the word of your cult to some city, maybe the city officials come to you and ask you if you have a permit to be there. And a situation like that would be tense and interesting to respond to, and your response could be consequential to your gameplay. Maybe you get attacked because you say the wrong words, or maybe you say the right words and they just leave you alone, right? Be interesting. So we decided that we would generate random events during the resolution of each month in game, where they could be generated in response to player actions. We would pause the resolution of each month's actions and statistics until a random event was responded to. So now we know what our random events look like and when we want to show our random events to players. The next question, though, is how do we exactly generate our random events? In grand strategy games like Europa Universalis IV, random events are generated based on conditions that need to be met. For example, in order to get that influential preacher event we ran into earlier, you need to be playing as a Catholic nation that's not the papal state. Once these two conditions are met, there's a percentage chance for this event to be generated. When we generate random events in CultGame, we use something called weighted random selection, which is basically like spinning the Wheel of Fortune with regions of the wheel that have varying sizes based off of something called weight values. A greater weight value means a larger region on the wheel, and vice versa. To create our wheel, which will spin to generate a random event, we'll look through every event in-game and check its conditions to see if it should be added to the wheel. If a condition is met, we increase the weight of the event on the wheel. Some of the common conditions we check are the particular action that the event is being generated in response to, your cult's beliefs, and the buildings and people that are on the tile the event is being generated at. Once we finish evaluating all of the conditions of an event, if its calculated weight is greater than 0, it has a chance of generating, and we will add it to the wheel. Additionally, there's a portion of the wheel which will generate no event at all, and that can either increase or decrease in weight based off of the aforementioned variables. All this being said, let's check out one of the sample events that can generate when you send one of your cultists to go preaching. Okay, so here's the random event that we have generated. You see that after we end the month, after we have registered the action we want to take, this screen popped up. It's labeled The Mugged Man. As Billy Bob walks along the path in the snowfields of Magi, they encountered a beaten and bloodied man on the ground. He's been stripped of his belongings, mugged and left to die. The man, with shallow breaths, reaches a trembling hand to you from the dirt. What do you do? So here, we have been presented with our prompt, we have our narrative, we have what's interesting here is that we have particularly filled in the blanks of, to create immersion here. We have our character being included in this event text. We have the location they are at. So yes, we have a context filled in there. And we get to make a choice. We have, right now, the effect text right here, where we can help him, and we lose some money from taking him to the inn, but we gain some local opinion because people respect us for helping out this man. Or we could preach to him. You know, the most understandable thing you'd want to do in a situation like this, or you can just ignore him. We're thinking about making some more choices here, but this is an example of what this is going to look like while you're playing the game. And right now I just started the game just to show you this example, so I don't have any money, so if I try to do this to him, it says, oh, you don't have enough gold. So there's some choices you can't make. But right now, we can at least try to preach to him. And right here, we do a preaching check. We'll go into this more. We'll have checks that basically test a character's skill in a moment of pressure. Right here, or this is a pretty good preaching character we have, so there's a 94% chance of success. So we'll try it. We succeed. So Billy Bob preaches to the dying man, "Be cleansed and made anew in the waters of Jeff Goldblum." Yeah, of course. The man, either moved by your words or his own desperation, gives you a weak thumbs up. Seeing his approval, you carry him away with you so that he might become indoctrinated as a new devotee in your cult. We've got Andrew, that's his name. And we go back, the month resolves, and we start up the next month. Right now, we have Andrew here as a new devotee, and you can use him. Yeah, so now the game's starting to expand in your size of your cultists that you can send and do stuff, because we can send Andrew to go preach with us too if we want. Yeah, so that's what it looks like to take that choice. We're going to generate the event again after we start making some money, and we'll show you what it looks like to take the choice where we spend money. Okay, we've generated the event again, and now we have some money. So we have Billy Bob walking along in the path, and this event will, we have it set so that it has like a 6-month cooldown, so you can't generate it like 2 months in a row just because that feels awkward. But it has a chance of, after that period, it will start to generate again, and now we have it here, and we can get this character, we can interact with it again. And let's see, we'll choose the first option, which we were unable to choose the first time. Okay, and the money is just glitch right now, so don't worry about this. But yes, we have a lot of money. But yes, we take the mugged man to a nearby inn where we pay the innkeeper to tend to the man's wounds and take care of him. The man is too weak to speak, but gives you a desperate look of thankfulness as he is bandaged up. Words of your deeds may begin to spread. So local opinion of the cult of Jeff Goldblum. It's up 5, that's good. People like us more, but we lost a little bit of money, or rather we spent it. Okay, that's it for this devlog today. Thank you for sharing a bit of your day with me. Shout out to our supporters now. We got MK Ultra Victim, Bill the Old Man, Jethro, Florian Rorwick, Adele4, and C-Standard.io. If you'd like to support me and get a shout out in my videos, you can do so at the Ko-Fi link in my description, and it's I take the support very seriously. I want to make sure it goes from your intention to supporting me to making the game directly better. We've been able to, with the supporters' money, get licensing for a giant bundle of sound effects that make the game sound really good. So that's directly making the game better. You guys donating your money is professional sounding sound effects. And just recently, we've been able to, with donations, been able to get handbooks on game dev business, handbooks on game dev budgeting. These are, I've been told, are both really good books, and I'm going to read them, and we'll make make me a better game developer for you guys. So thank you, y'all are wonderful. It makes making the whole process better. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to hang out and chill with these other wonderful people that are making this whole project happen, you can do so at the Cult Game Discord, and that's linked in the description. We're getting up there numbers wise. We're growing. So please join. We'll hang out. See you until then. Bye bye.